and welcome to Movie Couple Live. First of all, I just want to say we didn't properly check the sound, or should I say Navi didn't properly check the sound before we started. So if we sound really weird, please go ahead and drop.
Actually, we sound good.
Oh, we sound great. All right, then we can go ahead and move on with
Navi's work.
She's dozing off again. So we can start with our proper introduction. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Movie Couple Live. Happy Wednesday. This is a show where we talk about everything in pop culture and movie news. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And on today's show, we're talking about that new trailer for Ghostbusters.
We're also going to be talking about the live-action Pokemon series.
A little sneak peek, one single photo of the upcoming Mission Impossible teases the probably what's going to be insane train sequence.
We're also going to be talking about Fatal Frame, Maiden of the Black Water, and gets a release date.
And possibly could Mena Moussad be playing Ezra Bridger in any upcoming Star Wars series? All this and so much more coming up on today's show. But I said to you guys in the chat there, I don't even have my Discord turned on right now. I'm so sorry. But we said that we were running a few minutes late because we were, secured a last minute guest,
which is exciting.
Always so exciting. He's not late to the party. We were late to the party technically. So we'd like to welcome Robert to the stream.
Crashing the party, movie couple. Hey guys.
How you doing?
It's been a whirlwind the last 24 hours, so I'm excited to talk about a lot.
Yes, we are so excited. You guys let us know also if you hear a little bit of a echo because we're kind of monitoring sound through our side of it. So Robert doesn't hear any.
I don't hear nothing. I just hear you guys.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's how we want. Well. That's how we want.
Crossing the streams. That's right, Blade. Crossing the stream.
Honestly, I really wonder if they're going to be bringing that back in Ghostbuster Afterlife.
But let's not jump ahead because we do have so much to talk about. Before we do, you guys don't know that late to the party, Robert is one of two. There's two halves, too late to the party. Vanessa is very late to the party today. So late that I don't think she's going to join us. But that's okay because we got Robert holding down the fort today.
That's right. Yeah, she did a lot of Ghostbusters talking yesterday. And, of course, she's working right now, right down the hallway there. But, yeah, you get me today, which is I'll try and carry the weight for both of us.
I love it. You just got to bring out like a really cool cosplay because Vanessa always do that in your guys' video. So
if you guys check out our match against Wolves of Steel from the Schmodown many years ago, we do have the full Ghostbusters get-ups for each of us. So.
Ooh. Yeah, I remember. I was there. I think physically I was there for that.
You were there for all of it. You were our rock through it all.
Amazing. When I would yell into the studio, "I'm only here for late to the party," or for Grace Hancock's that's one interchangeable. Like what's the one of the things I would yell? Mm-hmm. I'm only here for Grace.
If it wasn't for the Schmodown, we wouldn't have the movie couple late to the party friendship. So
honestly, yes, that's so correct because I remember you guys' like first. Mm-hmm. visit and the Christian's like, yeah, late to the party, you know them? I'm like, not yet.
Right. Yeah. And going to the Collider Studios back in the day, like we already knew who the movie couple was because we watched the movie couple channel. So like we're in there and there's all these, familiar faces that we know from the YouTubes, but there was only one that we actually consistently watched over and over because they kind of did what we did. And that was Wendy. We were like, there's Wendy. Let's go talk to her. In fact, she was the first person we really spent time with and talked to. Then we put all our stuff in her office.
Yep.
That first day.
Why don't we just drop it here? I think I made you guys sign
NDAs.
Not NDA. Oh, it was NDA and like use of likeness.
Sure. We were signing away our
Someone else
late
wants
to the party
to
lives.
see you.
Oh, get kisses.
You guys haven't been over in our place a long time, so she probably misses that extra human contact.
Oh, I'm sure.
Hey, before we get into all of our topics today, we have so many. We have a super chat from Mr. Marvin Martin. Thank you so much. Marvin. And Marvin writes, you'd think that after the first Ghostbusters movie, the world would be different after finding out ghosts and afterlife really exist. True that. Robert, have you had any paranormal encounters?
Oh yeah.
In real life? Really?
Oh yeah. And here's the thing, like I'm a huge skeptic, but I do understand that there are things that they're inexplicable. You can't explain it. Back in the day, you get a headache, they say it was ghosts. Nowadays, you hear something or something happens. We don't know what it is, therefore ghosts is the first way everybody goes. But yes, there was a time in my life that was a very negative, very dark, very not positive. And I remember I was in my apartment one day, and this was before I was moving out, going on my own. We were separating. I was with, my significant other at the time, and things were not good. And I just remember that day I was there. I had been home. I was setting things up on the computer, just kind of prepping for what was to come because I was moving out. And before I knew it, it got super dark. My significant other had already had certain things happen that she would tell me about, but I never saw it, never heard anything. But she mentioned it, and I was sitting at the computer. It was dark, pitch black. And you know those times when you're busy doing something, it just gets completely dark. All the lights are out. You didn't turn on any lights. And now I shut down my computer, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there in complete darkness. And I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of weird. And I get up and I'm about to leave, and I'm walking through the hallway, and I kid you not, right next to my ear, I hear somebody say, "Hey." And the hair stood, like, I froze, and I was like, what? And it was like if somebody was standing right there, you could feel it on your ear. And I just hear, "Hey." And I just keep walking, and I leave. And I didn't want to go back for a few days because that was an insane experience. And then I did end up going back when I was getting my stuff. And all of a sudden, we heard like a thump, and both of us went into the bedroom, and there was like a jewelry box that was on the back of the dresser, and it was laying on the floor in the middle of the room. And at that point I was like, well, nice knowing you. Good times. Enjoy your ghost, because I'm out. But yeah,
that's like Jordan Peele's new poster. Nope.
Of course. Nope.
Nope.
I was out.
That's
but yeah, that
honestly
was insane.
I would love if they made a horror movie or like a comedy ghost story just called Nope.
I mean, that's Jordan Peele's thing. That's
Jordan. It's on his way.
I don't think I've talked about this.
I don't think
it's
really?
on the way.
Okay, maybe I'm getting all my shows mixed up. So because I'm thinking of Roka and I definitely talked about it on the show.
And also it's a horror movie, so I probably wouldn't have.
But you're gonna see it because it's called Nope. Like there's just so much. Jordan Peele's new poster. It's got Cloud with like a little kite, like tail thingy hanging out of it, overlooking a town, and the word it's the name of the movie. It just says Nope.
Oh my gosh. Okay, even though it's going to be a horror movie, you gotta see it. Jordan Peele. Really want to see that. Do they have a trailer out for it, or is it just a poster?
Just a poster.
Oh.
My story is less horrifying than yours. But this was back when I lived in Florida, and I was at my friend's house who had just gotten new bathroom light fixtures put in, like new lights and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, do you want to go upstairs?" And like, it was like a huge makeover for upstairs. And I was like, "Oh my God, I can't wait." So I like ran upstairs, which like in kind of now in hindsight, you're thinking like, oh, just bathroom lights. But it was a very pretty setup. There was a lot of money that went into the renovation. So I run upstairs, and like, I'm thinking she's running behind me because I felt like how on carpet, when someone steps behind you, you can feel kind of like the weight. And we were like, go up the stairs. And I turned it on. I was like, wow, so cool. And mind you, the way I angled myself, because you kind of enter the bathroom on a diagonal, you see the mirror, but you can't see yourself in the mirror because the way of where you're standing, but you can turn the lights on from where you are. So I didn't really quite step in. I was like, oh, wow, blah, blah, blah. This looks so good. And I asked her about this and that, and I heard no reply, but I heard felt two footsteps on the carpet behind me, where like you felt like somebody stepping down on the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, right? And I asked the question again, and I was like, what the heck? And I turned around. There is nobody there. And I'm like, and I run back downstairs, left the lights on and everything. And I was like, hey, why'd you leave? And she said, what? She's in the kitchen. And I was like, I asked you about the lights. Why'd you leave? She's like, you went up there by yourself. I never went upstairs to her house again after that. I just stayed downstairs. That's a big nope for me.
When you're happy you don't live there. It's not your house.
It's not you guys enjoy the ghosts. I don't want to live there. Oh
Silver
my
linings.
God. Exactly. And there's so much so I just left the state. I was like, you know what? We're just gonna leave.
I must just be one of those people that ghosts just don't like. Because I remember having like dreams of ghosts as a kid, but I don't really remember having like something that I would be like, oh yeah, that's paranormal, as opposed to, no, that's just me having a very overactive imagination.
Or is it?
That is something that I would say I have a lot of.
Which a lot of the time, that's what it is, man. It's your imagination. You know, I could have totally manifested that myself and heard it because I was thinking in that moment that it was so quiet that any noise I'd be able to hear clearly. And I did right when I thought about it. So, you know, it's possible.
I'm laughing at this comment's hilarious. But you know what, Robert? That was smart.
Scaring me.
It's smart that you didn't answer.
Sure. Yeah. At that, and
that's smart.
That's the thing is like when it comes down to these kinds of experience, I'm typically very, very adamant about debunking or talking through it, figuring it out, not just jumping to it. But I'm not going to lie, man. What I felt when I heard that was definitely all the true signs of an encounter with a paranormal activity of some sort. So, you know, it's one of those things. A lot of people have experiences. They're fun. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to work through them. And 9 times out of 10, it's really nothing.
Yeah. As long as it's not like you're not being harmed, you're okay.
Sure. Yeah. There's some people that get it worse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson had like a little interview and he was talking about that. That's a big problem with humanity is the fact that they're like, I don't know what that is. Right. Therefore, it must be this.
Of course.
Kind of a thing. So that's our immediate reaction is to try to put something that we can actually tangibly think of, like, oh, it's a ghost, or lightning bolts are the anger of the gods, kind of a thing.
That's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna real wrath of God type stuff.
Yeah.
Dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria.
Well, speaking of Ghostbusters, Lamont Smoth flying in with the super chat here saying, looking forward to Afterlife. Us too. Do you see it being successful then Ghostbusters 2016 IP of late not made good business lately, i.e. Charlie's Angels, Men in Black International. Also, did you see Suicide Squad's Rotten Tomatoes score? So first part of the question, do you see it being more successful than Ghostbusters 2016? Going to Robert, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because you're bringing back the nostalgia aspect of it. And that's where you're going to get a lot of the general public, a lot of the people that understand what Ghostbusters is, that loved Ghostbusters, or just, you know, moderately enjoyed Ghostbusters. So when you do stuff kind of like Star Wars, you know, 30 years later or something, and you end up bringing characters and actors playing the same roles back into a sequel versus just a straight up reboot, you are going to file in a lot of that general audience to come back to the theater. That's a bulk of your money right there is general public. Now, what you get from the diehard fans as well is if it's good, you're going to get repeat viewing. So we're going to keep going back to the theater to check it out. And it's not going to be available on streaming at the same time, which that's what a lot of us have been doing is we watch it in the theater. It's great. If it's good, we watch it at home. So we don't go back to the theater. But I have a feeling that if it's good, you're going to get a lot of that repeat business and you're going to get the general public to show up for it. But they're very minimally giving that away to the general public to get them to come in. So they'll have to hit it with the final trailer whenever that is.
Yes.
And I agree with you 100%. It's the fact that they're really hitting these nostalgia points very, very well.
Right.
For the longest time, people have been wanting kind of like the handing off of the torch for the Ghostbusters. And it's just the fact that this is finally what it looks like it's going to be doing. We're going to have kind of like a new generation taking on these ghosts, and it's going to be the old mentors, in a sense, helping them out through their journey. And this is kind of something, that everyone's been wanting to see. If we do live in a world that has ghosts, you would have people that are 100% dedicated to studying this and exploring this. And that was one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way about the second movie, is the fact that after this huge paranormal activity event, people just kind of shrugged it off and went back to their normal lives. And then they turned around and ended up suing the Ghostbusters, who just saved the city. And you're kind of like, why would you do that to your heroes, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll touch on that at all in this movie.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing as what happened in Ghostbusters 2, just long term. And I think the problem is, and you get it from the first official trailer that they released for Ghostbusters Afterlife, was that they mentioned that, you know, there was a big paranormal activity back in the day, but they haven't seen a ghost since. So I feel like the same thing happened where it was just a big surge of paranormal activity and then it was gone. There was nothing. So, you know, what ends up happening at that point to the company that's in charge of catching ghosts when there are no ghosts? And if there have not been any ghosts showing up whatsoever since Ghostbusters 2, they don't have a job. It's done. It's over. Right. So they haven't had a job since then, at least in terms of, you know, ghost busting. So people are going to not care anymore. You know, we're a very fickle society. So, you know, it's the hot topic right then and there, but nobody has seen a ghost. No one's talked about a ghost. It's not in the news anymore. So therefore, no one cares. So I feel like that's the problem that you're going to see here, is that if they don't know about it, they just forgot about it or didn't really care. Because one, unless they were living in New York, it didn't really affect them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And also the fact that if if this event happens and then it doesn't happen again, well, who's to say that they're not the ones who actually used, what is it that Walter Peck said? They use gases to make people hallucinate. That's probably what was going on in New York.
It's happening right now.
This company decided to try to use this nerve gas that made people think they were seeing ghosts, and they were ripping people off.
Wow.
That's true. Yeah. It's the all the different, you know, points of view that people are coming up with, and some of them misguided, some of them informed, but everybody's going to have their own opinion on certain things that went down, and majority aren't probably going to believe it because they didn't witness it. So
yeah,
they turned on the Ghostbusters.
Well, I guess we will have to wait and find out this November when the film comes out. And we'll talk a lot more about Ghostbusters later on. Jumping into Lamont's second part of the question for his super chat. Did you see Suicide Squad's Rotten Tomato score? Right now, it is sitting at a spicy 98%.
That is amazing.
And I think they just had a pretty big screening, like press screening for it. So it's definitely a lot of people. Let me see how many. 54 reviews so far. And then look, all the reviews right now that are like, or not reviews, but reactions, social reactions that I'm seeing online is all like, it's wacky, it's crazy, it's fun, it's violent. I'm like, you know what? Say no more. I don't want to know anymore until the movie comes out and we get to see it. It just looks like it's going to be a good time, in kind of in that style of James Gunn. Robert, did you pretty much expected that kind of a score?
Yeah, I mean, it's James Gunn. He knows how to bring in an ensemble. He knows how to have a good time. And granted, unless, you know, DC or Warner Brothers got in there and really messed with his vision and moved things around, which I think they did learn their lesson from the first time. So I think that, you know, now that they kind of have a clean slate, I mean, other than Harley Quinn, all the other characters are pretty much just existing in the Suicide Squad films for now. So I feel like, you know, they have free reign. They basically told James Gunn, kill whoever you want. So when it comes down to it, I think the shock factor and the oh my God moments of the kills is going to be what energizes the audience over and over throughout the movie, because you'll never see it coming. And when it does happen, it's kind of like Final Destination, you know, those big, oh my God moment. That hypes up a crowd. Yeah, it hypes up a crowd, and it gets, you know, a positive buzz if it's done well and if they stick the landing, which it's sounding like they did.
Yeah.
I want to buy stock in a theory that I have
on
one of the character deaths. And I want to get your opinion on this. So in the trailer, there's a moment where Polka Dot Man goes, "I'm a superhero." And my guess is that that's his last line in the movie, because as soon as he says that, boom.
Wouldn't it be perfect?
And I'm kind of like, and that's my guess. I want to put some money down on like in Vegas that's where Polka Dot Man dies.
It's possible that it does sound like a good final line, you know, for him to, or he stays through the whole movie. It is possible. David Desmalchin, so I feel like his survival rate, I feel like in the film a little bit higher than some of the other ones. But I guess we will see.
The only reason I think he will survive, though, is because he's the one that wants to die. Like in the trailer, he flat out says, "I want to die," and the one that wants to die is more than likely the one that is not going to die. So I have a feeling like he's going to try, or he's going to do things that's like Inspector Clouseau. No matter what happened, it just did not kill him. So I feel like he's going to end up making it through all these skin of his teeth type moments and make it through the end, and then realize he's a superhero. But then if you killed him right then it would be perfect.
Because that would be the moment that he doesn't want to die. He's like, I'm a hero. I'm amazing. Yes. Boom, you're dead.
I felt like calling that collective groan I can hear in my head right now from the audience. Like, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
It's like there's that moment in James Bond GoldenEye where what's his? I can't remember the actor's name, but he goes, I am invincible. Yeah. And he goes, I am invincible. Then he dies.
It's
Bleeding Green with the super chat writes, now only if Disney would let James Gunn loose with a Marvel movie. Potentially, right? Maybe with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, he is James Gunn is coming back for Guardians of the Galaxy.
And don't forget, we're getting that Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess we will see. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic here, which is just a quick thought on Mission Impossible. There has been a little photo going around. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. This is directly from the director's Instagram. This is inside the train. If you can see in the background there, that's a camera rig. Upside down. So, and along with wires and 50 million other things, I'm guessing, and this is what people are speculating as well on the internet, as well as in this article by Collider, is that maybe this is when the train goes off the rail and starts rolling. I mean, they've done everything in Mission Impossible, right? They've done the plane, the zero gravity plane, right? No, that was for the Mummy. That's the different kind of Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, that was Tom Cruise screaming.
But Mission Impossible is go bigger or go home, and each movie has gone bigger and bigger. I honestly didn't know how they were going to go bigger than strapping Tom Cruise to a side of a plane, but then as it was taking off, but then there was the Rogue Nation, the one after that, Fallout, and then now we get this one. Robert, looking at this photo here, I'll go ahead and put it up again. What are you expecting to see? And I like that it's in black and white too, so you can't really tell exactly what's going on.
Correct. Inception is what comes to mind. Ooh. So it reminds me of the hallway that they built on the rig and started twisting it and turning, and they're running. So it's funny how they're going back to a train, because Mission Impossible 1 had the bullet train, and of course that was just high speed on top of the train. And I know back in October there was actually footage of Tom Cruise on a train fighting on top of it that they released, or at least that leaked out. So I'm thinking, it's going to be a fight on top of the train. We're going to get into the train. It's going to derail. It's going to roll down a mountain. And I'm thinking more than likely there's going to be people inside, like Tom Cruise, running along the walls of the train as it's spinning, So
in Fast 9, where they showed it in the trailer, where the truck is going, and Vin Diesel's like just running with it like a hamster in a ball kind of thing.
Yeah.
And still keeping up with it.
Except this one, we're going to actually push the train off the rail because, we keep it rooted in reality when it comes to Mission Impossible. No, but honestly, all jokes aside, I love the entire franchise so much that I can't wait to see, I want to be first person in line seeing this movie. I seriously can't wait. And I want to hurry up and kind of get to our main topic here. So I can't not talk about this. You guys, we could possibly be getting a Pokemon live action series. So according to Variety has learned exclusively from sources, a Pokemon series is actually in development at Netflix. So this is still very early in the day. So there's no details about the plot, cast, blah, blah, blah. Other than that, sources are saying that Joe Henderson is attached to write and executive produce, who currently serves as a co-showrunner and executive producer on the Netflix show. Well, prior to that, I think it was NBC or something like that. But for Lucifer, who is getting ready to air its final season. So what do you guys think of, now that we've seen kind of sort of a live action Pikachu in Detective Pikachu, how confident are you thinking about this live action series for Netflix?
Well, I'm actually a little curious on how they're going to handle this, because if it's in the style of Detective Pikachu, one of the things that actually made Detective Pikachu work is the fact that you had Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. So you could have, people want to see the Pokemon. People want them to be the main characters, but they kind of have the same problem like that the Hulk does, is the fact that you can't really have that much of a dramatic scene or that much of character development with characters that don't really talk. So I'm a little curious on how they're going to do that. I mean, that's what people wanted, and they were able to do that through the specific storyline and story arc of Detective Pikachu, of having a Pokemon that talked. However, I don't know how they're going to be able to handle that in a live action series, but I just want to see them. I just want to see this world. I loved how they had that in the Detective Pikachu movie. It's just this world filled with all of these different creatures, and how it's just really a part of life to have your very own Pokemon.
Yeah. Robert, what do you think?
The humans are going to be the ones that carry the movie, of course. The Pokemon are going to be the ones that, get the cute moments and the toys and the merch, and it's going to be everyone's favorites because they're there to watch the Pokemon. But really, you got to come up with an engaging story to be able to have these Pokemon kind of play a part of it. Now, if they're doing a live action series, though, it makes me wonder, are they going to attempt to go and do like the cartoon series? Are we going to get Ash? Are we going to get Team Rocket? Like, is that what their idea is? In which case, now it just comes down to casting. Who are you going to cast for all these characters? And the Pokemon can still just speak in their Pokemon speak and not have to have a character. Yeah, Pikachu! But they end up being, and you could make someone cry. You hurt a Pokemon or put it in danger. It's going to pull at your heartstrings, especially with those cute voices. But yeah, it's going to come down to the story. And I love the mix of live action and CG. Very similar to old school Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's what they ended up doing with the Detective Pikachu. So yes, more of that, please. Like, that is what I want to get into in the world. And you can even have some of the Detective Pikachu people come over. Granted, we know that story is kind of done when it comes to Ryan Reynolds and his Pokemon and all that. But you can have still people show up in the same world and create a universe. I don't know why they haven't yet. It's weird.
Yeah, I wonder if this series, because you guys bring up a good point, is it going to be like Pikachu and the other Pokemon technically don't talk? Meowth talks in the cartoon, but he's
that's right.
That's right. And then literally, I think it's the only one. Other than that, they just kind of very cutely just repeat their names. So I wonder if which way their story is going to go. Are they going to go the Ash route, or are they going to do a completely organic, very original story? And are they maybe going to time the release for this to be sort of like to time it with the video game Arceus or Arceus, the open world game? So they could potentially, they could potentially have different regions and different characters, with each episode. So we will kind of keep our eyes on that and see, because you're right. If the humans don't do a good job, then the show isn't going to be good, because they're the ones with the mouth to tell the story.
Yeah.
Because you can have Pikachu look cute, and everybody, like Robert said, Pikachu and Eevee and everybody's going to look cute anyways. They're already cute, and we already love them. So what can the humans do to elevate this? Marvin Martin with the super chat writes, YouTube, scientifically accurate Pokemon. If you could imprison innocent creatures and enslave them into gladiator fights, LOL. All right, let's just say we're Pokemon trainers. Who would you have as your Pokemon?
Honestly, I think I would lean more towards Squirtle. If we're going for like the
water type, okay.
Because, well, one, he has high defense and he has some pretty good hard-hitting power. Because with that blast, once you evolve him into Blastoid, yeah, he is hard to hit. I mean, he can take a lot of damage and he can give a lot of damage.
What about you, Robert?
I've always been a Charmander type guy, but I'd probably be Jigglypuff. I don't know, or Snorlax or something. That's more my inner Pokemon. But yeah, Charmander's always kind of been my go-to.
Yeah, I feel like as much as I love my Pikachu and my Eevee, if I were to really think about battle, I think I would pick Charmander, Charizard, any one of those iterations. Probably Charizard because he's pretty epic looking.
But he has wings, but he can't fly.
Renell writes, hey guys, anthropomorphizing animals, fictional or non-fictional, will always have kind of a weird, uncanny valley, especially if it's live action. It's true. I think they did a good job with the Detective Pikachu movie, though. So we'll just see if they continue to use that technique over. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out, because we had talked to at the screening for Detective Pikachu, the director was there, and he did speak about, for like, to get the rights of the Pokemon, you got to pay per Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like, how many are you allowed to have in a series? And it's going to be a little different because Netflix does have distribute a lot of the Pokemon cartoons currently. So do they kind of get a deal on that, or when they create, they still have to be like, okay, but you have to pay only for these? So then do we just get like starter Pokemons?
It's like Pokemon cards. They got to buy the starter set and then start adding them on as you go. So we see what you guys are doing over there at Pokemon. Like it's just endless. It's money making.
And I do like that some people are actually starting to put what their starter Pokemon would be.
Shout them out, Dustin.
We do have Charmander from Lamont. But level 2 trading, Pidgeotto. I remember when I was playing Pokemon Go, I had so many the smaller version of Pidgey.
The Pidgeys?
Because you would catch them, and they were the cheapest ones to evolve. So you would use an egg to get double experience points, and you would just keep on evolving the Pidgeotos, and you would just get experience points. Level up that way.
Yeah. We don't play anymore. We ended up deleting the game off our phone, but our neighbor still plays. We see them go on catching Pokemons all the time.
Did you know that Ryan is actually like the number 2, or like he's like in the top 5 of the entire world? And he was actually on like an interview, and he was on like, they're like, oh yeah, and they find out that he's like 13 years old, and he's kicking everybody's butt.
Oh,
and he's
my gosh.
I'm like sitting here and hearing Othman talk about it.
Maybe not say their names anymore.
Sorry.
It's privacy.
My apologies. But it is just amazing just how big of a world, how big Pokemon Go is still to this day. And even though if you're not a part of it, it's still like worldwide. And there's these huge worldwide leagues and teams that are still combatant. There's a huge fandom out there.
And here's 2 of us, like very casual players, just like, can you catch this Pokemon for me? Can you catch this shiny Pokemon? All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic, which is just a rumor, but I think I would love to see it come true. So potentially we could maybe see Mena Moussad, who you remember from Aladdin, play Ezra Bridger in upcoming Star Wars live action series. It's not an earthquake, it was just Dustin's foot.
Sorry.
And also potentially Lars Mikkelsen coming back to reprise his role as Thrawn. What do you guys, you guys are both big Star Wars fans, and we've been loving the live action series. We got to see Ahsoka, we've gotten to see Boba Fett, and currently watching through the Bad Batch, who knows who else could show up from the animation world into the live action world. And we feel like with the Ahsoka series, potentially this is where we're going to get to see Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. So you guys' thoughts on Mena Moussad playing Ezra Bridger? I'll go to Robert first.
It's great because remember, what was it? I think it was in 2019 where he was talking about how he couldn't get work after Aladdin. Yes. And so, come on, give him work. Like, let's get him in there. If you want him to play Ezra, it would be perfect. I think that would be he's already in the Disney family. Yeah. So let's go ahead and bring him in as an older Ezra. And of course, Mikkelsen coming in as Thrawn. I mean, why not? If he does there's certain characters or actors that could play their live action counterparts for the VO that they ended up doing in the animated series. Why not bring him in? Because I mean, I know a lot of people threw out Benedict Cumberbatch. He wants nothing to do with that. I mean, partly because he doesn't want to paint himself blue nonstop. It's a hell of an investment to be a character that's in full makeup constantly. So he understands the work that needs to be put in there. So I'm pretty sure, Mikkelsen would do it. I mean, I don't know what else he's done besides Rebels as Thrawn, at least in live action. So I'm sure there's others out there. I think there was another one that was popular, but sure, why not bring both of them into it? Because I'm always ready to see some of those newer faces getting a chance, mixed in with some of the veterans for, a live action Ahsoka show.
Yeah. I think aside from, well, first of all, with Mena Moussad, I was really sad to hear that he wasn't getting work.
Right.
You know, I got to meet him while I was at Collider. He came in for an interview. He's just a lovely, very charming guy. And if you kind of look at his stature and just his overall look, and you kind of put it up next to whatever the latest iteration of Ezra Bridger would be, and then age him to however old he's going to be in probably the Ahsoka series. I mean, this is not confirmed, so we're just talking rumors and theories here. Like, Mena Moussad literally looks like the live action iteration of Ezra Bridger. So I can't wait for this. And then speaking of live action, from like animation into live action, I can totally see Vanessa Marshall putting on those lekus and being Hera 100%.
And I love that they're doing that. I mean, Mena Moussad I think he did a good job in Aladdin.
Yeah.
For what he was given and how the movie kind of played out. And I love the fact that he's in the Disney family. So he really does kind of fit in here. And the look, his demeanor, his acting style, all really does fit Ezra perfectly.
Yeah.
And just like what you said, Robert, if you can get the voice actor who played the character originally in the cartoon to come onto the live action, you've already now got the voice.
Yep.
And Mikkelsen looks like it. I mean, he has kind of the facial structure of Thrawn. And honestly, a part of me is kind of glad that Benedict Cumberbatch was kind of like, I'm not really.
Let someone else do it.
Let someone else do it. And the fact that they're bringing in the original voice actor.
Yeah.
If this is true, I am super excited about it.
Same. A couple of super chats before we get into our main topics here. This one is from Lamont. Hold on. Did I miss any? Okay, no.
I don't think so.
All right, Lamont Small, thank you so much for your support, by the way. Lamont writes, guys, did you know that a prequel, Die Hard 6, was in development while producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura announced that Die Hard 6 was officially canceled thanks to the Fox-Disney merger? Didn't know about that, but I also wouldn't say it's completely dead in the water. I think a lot of projects maybe shelved, canceled, shelved, but it doesn't mean they can't bring it back. I think when you merge companies like that, there's a lot of things that like both sides want to focus on. What you keep, what you don't keep, and what you continue to develop and what you kind of put on hold. So even though they say it's canceled, I honestly wouldn't doubt it if in a couple of years we start hearing it kind of, getting dusted off again and being talked about again.
Yeah, Die Hard is definitely one of those franchises that even if the movie isn't that good, it still makes money. You still get a lot of people coming in and saying that it is a prequel.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Robert, what do you think about a prequel for Die Hard?
Right. I remember when they talked about it, it was going to be called McClane. It was going to end up being just a younger version of John, of course. I don't know if it was like when he was first joining up into the police force or just became a detective or something. But I mean, it's fine. The thing is about John McClane, man, Michael Scott hit it on the head when he talks about how he's basically a superhero by the time you get to number 4. And I mean, it's too much. I remember going and watching Good Day to Die Hard in the theater and just walking out completely. Like, I wasn't even disappointed because I knew it was going to be the way it looked in the trailers, which was just kind of a lot of noise. And, I like Jai Courtney as Boomerang, but just when they casted him there as his son, like, I don't know what it was. I just felt like those that were in charge of Good Day to Die Hard would probably be the ones that would be in charge of the prequel. And I just was not for it. Now, granted, I really like Live Free or Die Hard, but the unrated version, the one that actually has the MFers and the blood, and Timothy Olyphant is so good as the primary villain in that movie. But when it comes down to it, I like John McClane. I love the Die Hard trilogy, especially. But when it comes down to a prequel, I don't need it. I don't need young Bruce Willis. We got that already with Looper. We got that already with the kid. Like, I'm good. And it just wouldn't be the same. It'd just be a different person playing, McClane. And then there was that Die Hard battery commercial. Did you guys see that? Where Bruce is phoning it in 10 times over?
For real, I really thought, I was like, oh, what is it? We're going to get some sort of an announcement or some sort of a new movie. And it just was not that.
Yeah.
Was not honestly, what we thought. Oh, sorry. We're still here. No, we're still here. Hold on.
I'm taking over.
I think we just lost camera.
Yeah, we're okay. Just
now it's a podcast.
Hey, now it's a podcast. There we go. Now we're back.
And you know what? Honestly, I think that was one of the big downfalls of Die Hard is the fact that Bruce Willis just does not care about it anymore. I mean, if you listen, especially if you listen to all of those interviews with Kevin Smith about Bruce Willis and how he does actually have kind of a resentment to John McClane and the Die Hard franchise now.
Oh, why?
Because what was it? There was a time that they were standing outside, and they were working. I can't remember what movie they were working on, but there was a car that drove by. I was like, "Yeah, John McClane, Bruce Willis, woo!" And he goes, "Oh, I hate the Die Hard ones."
Oh no! This is from Kevin Smith podcast?
It wasn't a Kevin Smith. It was an interview or a, I guess, kind of a podcast.
So he was telling the story.
Kevin
Smith
he was telling the story about it.
Oh,
and
oh no,
it's kind of like what is it called? Like Jennifer Lawrence with
the Mockingjay,
or with at the end of X-Men, to where you can tell she's just the actors aren't invested anymore, and that's the point to where you really do have to, like, okay, if you want to continue with this franchise, kill off the character or recast the character. And I guess going in the direction of a prequel, you'd be able to do that.
Yeah,
you'd be able to recast. But honestly, yeah. The first Die Hard movie was supposed to be an ordinary, everyday man story. And if John McClane has already gone through an adventure like that, then it really diminishes what he was in the first movie.
Yeah. I like Level 2 Trading's comment here, which is kind of very accurate in line of what we're talking about, what Dustin just talked about here. Die Hard was Fast and Furious before it was Fast and Furious.
No, that's true. That's very, very true. It went from, that everyday man to superhero. From ordinary criminal to super spy.
All right, going on. Going on to our next super chat before we dive into our main topic, which is Ghostbusters Afterlife. So much to talk about here. Marvin Martin writes, I want a new trilogy set long after Rise of Skywalker, when all this is now legend and myth. What would you want to see? Ideas for new stuff, old stuff, Easter eggs. Do you have any ideas?
I would actually be 100% with that. Now that the Skywalker saga is supposed to be over, I would love to see maybe 200 years into the future.
Okay.
To where, and then you can build up your new lore. You can build up whether there is a new Jedi Order, or if they're starting to try to do, well, we don't want to do Jedi. We want to try to make it so it's a little bit more incorporated to where you can study the dark side of the Force. Now, if you practice it too much, that's a problem, kind of a thing. I would love for them to kind of take this Jedi and Sith always killing each other and fighting and try to wield power over the universe to have it more of a world that is now accepting the Force, and it's a little bit more of this gray area.
Yeah. Robert, what about you?
I mean, it kind of is at the point where they kind of drew themselves into a wall where they don't have anywhere to kind of go when it comes to a looming villain in the world of the sequel trilogy. So by bringing the Emperor back and then killing him and wiping out, the new First Order and the new First Order and like all that being done, it's like, okay, well, we kind of have to get away from this if we're going to be able to organically come up with a new big bad that's going to be striking fear into the hearts of the entire galaxy, because now, everything's cool. Everything's fine. We resolved everything. We're good. So jumping into the future, you need to get away from where they are now. There really is no reason to come up with another chapter in that world of the trilogy. They need to scrap what they're doing over at Galaxy's Edge and just start bringing in either the Galactic Empire time frame and just mix it with that, or all of them. Just kind of mix all the characters the way they're kind of doing it with the Marvel Land, the Avengers campus.
Yeah.
But for the future, you're either going to tell stories that are in between all the different time periods like they're doing with The Mandalorian. But other than that, if you're going to get back into the tentpole films, you got to go farther out, because yes, we can go back, but we need to see where we are now. And then let's try something a little bit different when it comes to the big bad. Sure, you can do Sith for sure. But I feel like if they wanted to end the whole Sith aspect with the Emperor, there are many different variations of this, of people that utilize this religion or these powers. They don't have to just be, the dogmatic ways of the Jedi or, rule of two when it comes to the Sith. There could be some Force users out there that are completely off the wall that we have yet to see. So I'm hoping they do that. Let's not bring any of the crew or cast back. Let's just do something brand new, way ahead into the future.
Yeah.
And I think also that's a really cool thing to kind of have, is the fact that you're now having a whole new generation that doesn't have the training of the Sith or the Jedi.
Correct.
So they're going to have to try and figure it out themselves. You're going to have this huge generation of Force users that are just like, oh, I've heard of people who have this ability. I'm able to use the Force, I think. I wonder what I can do with it. And some of them are going to go a little bit this way, a little bit that way. It's what's the prophecy? There has been balance brought to the Force. There is no Jedi. There's no Sith who are now in power. It's now just this blank slate.
Yeah.
And they have to take advantage of that blank slate.
Yeah. So we will see. I don't imagine we will be seeing a Star Wars film and then, for a little while. And I think that's okay. I can totally be patient, especially since we're getting all these TV shows on Disney Plus. I think that'll satisfy my Star Wars needs, and not just in like television, but also, there's various books like High Republic is out and everything. So I think there's tons to go around for Star Wars. So I just would like kind of agreeing with the both of you. I would love for them to go far, far, far into the future. Very organic, very original characters and stories. And we don't have to keep falling back on the Skywalker saga, because we've seen it, we know it, we love it, but then let's get something else that we can love as well. So
kind of make it like a Game of Thrones kind of Star Wars, where we have just all these different factions.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're here to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife, the latest trailer out for the movie. That feels like it really should have come out years ago, but because of the stupid pandemic, everything was delayed. But we're so happy that we get to see it this year, right? In November. So excited. We're focusing on, not us, but the trailer focuses on Phoebe, who is Egon's granddaughter. Why they're in Somerville, why they're in his old house, we don't know, but there's a lot of really fantastic nostalgia and some new stuff going along the trailers. Going to Robert, our guest, your initial reaction, which, by the way, you can watch him and Vanessa's reaction on Late to the Party's YouTube channel, which is currently not linked in this video because this was Robert being here is very last minute, which I love, but I will put his channel in there post.
Yeah, anytime you want to crash our live stream, dude.
Please do. Crash the party.
Crash the party.
Crash the party.
Shoot from the hip. That's how I like it. So,
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, what I loved about the trailer, first impression, was that it's pretty much the same trailer as the one that they released before, the first official trailer, with a little bit more to it. Now, yes, there are some things in the trailer that if you pause it and you know Ghostbusters, you're saying, holy geez, like that's the way we're going, because you can pick up certain iconography, certain landmarks that are within certain shots, which we did. We went back through every frame. We were going to do a whole breakdown of it, but we didn't. Nice. Instead, we just sat on the couch and did it ourselves. But there are things that are new in this trailer that are very fulfilling to where we think the story is possibly going, which is always great when it comes to speculation. We've talked about this before, being able to have fun with the way you think the story is going to go, but not put so much stock into it, because we understand that it is very possible it is not going to go that way. But the first impression was that it was very similar. They kept it more as a reminder with a little bit extra for those that were really looking. So for that, I love what they did with this trailer.
Dustin, your thoughts?
Me too. I loved every little point that they hit. Now, I got a question for you. There was that moment to where they had the it looked like they were underground and there was that crack and all this light was coming out of it, and then you see that one arm that pops up. Immediately, my first thought was, "Oh my gosh, that's Gozer coming out of there."
It's Gozer.
And I know truly have that. It kind of has like a weird kind of xenomorph head.
It's the flat top.
The flat top.
Like,
aim for the flat top. It's the flat top. And it looks withered and worn, and like, it's been through hell. But the thing is, there's more. There's in that. I don't know. It's in the trailer, so I kind of want to talk about it, but I also kind of don't, because I feel like it's a little bit spoilery. But yeah, there is very much evidence in that scene in the trailer that says that hole and that person crawling out of it is 100% Gozer. And
it makes so much sense.
it does make sense, but I do hope that there is a looming bigger bad that is running the show versus it just being Gozer. But at the same, I mean, we mentioned in our reaction Evo Shandor, but the only issue I have with Evo Shandor is Evo Shandor was just a man, so it wasn't a demigod or a god. So I don't know about the power over Gozer and Zool and Vince Glortha. Like, I feel like Evo Shandor is kind of just the man that set things in motion. But yeah, as far as this trailer goes, it's a temple of Gozer, and it's Gozer that's coming out of that hole.
And it would make a lot of sense that after the very first movie, all of those artifacts there, Egon would have been like, we need to study that. And he would have got somehow to spend all of his time, all of his effort, just collecting all of them and putting them somewhere safe.
Sure.
And turns out that putting them somewhere safe is what's causing all of the earthquakes and all of the chaos there. So that's where he hid all of it, thinking, okay, no one's going to find this. However, Gozer found it because that's the only doorway back into our world. So I just love sitting down and thinking about all of these possible ideas and themes. But I wouldn't be disappointed if the big bad was Gozer. I would be, because it's not like they defeated Gozer. All they did was shut the door on her, and now she's gonna be, or it's gonna be trying to find a way back. Because I thought Gozer was a man. Gozer can be
whatever it wants to be.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want them to. I don't mind if Gozer is going to be in the film, and I think they should put Gozer in the film if this is called, like Ghostbusters Afterlife. Also, remember when in our trailer reaction I said they should be calling this Ghostbusters Legacy? Yeah. So apparently in other languages, such as like German, the actual translation of the movie title is actually Ghostbusters Legacy, which to me makes like way more sense. But besides the fact, so like this is very much homing in on nostalgia, the history of Ghostbusters. So it makes sense for Gozer to be in there. But I feel like it's a bit of a cop out if Gozer ends up being the big bad, because we've been there, done that. And like Robert said, I want to see some like bigger, bad, scary, evil that the kids can go, yeah, they don't have, like the ghost busting experience that, the original had, but they may have other, they're younger. So like they're maybe honed in on other technologies or other stuff that they can use to. So I want to see like a mega team up at the end, going up against whatever new big bad that the creators imagined up. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Like, I don't mind seeing them come back with like, say the Stay Puft's going to be back, if whoever is going to be back, bring them all back, but I want a new big bad. Okay. That you look at the screen, you go, oh my God, how are they going to, they're all going to die,
And here's the big question though, Robert, what did you think of the little teaser at the end of Dan Aykroyd going, we're closed?
My best to the coven, Raise a Cult bookstore tells me we're going back to New York, whether it's, it's going to be very minimal, but we are going to be in New York in this movie at some point in time, because Raise a Cult bookshop is still open. If you look at the shot in Raise a Cult, it's just the camera is in the other direction. The phone is in the same spot. It's the same exact phone. The steps are there. The window's the same from the out. If you look on the outside shot before you go into Raise a Cult, it is identical. So we are going back to New York. The gang could still all be living in New York doing different things. They get each other, they head out to Oklahoma and have to bust some heads. But when it comes down to showing that final scene without having to really show it, for me, huge, yes. Because you're informing me. Because other than, the past trailers, we had no idea that the Ghostbusters were even going to be in this movie, other than the casting announcements, or at least not even announcements, just people saying, oh yeah, they were there on the set, or we're going to have them all. Everyone is supposed to be coming back with the exception of Rick Moranis, but that could just be a secret that they're keeping, I'm hoping, because it's weird that Rick Moranis is starting to show up a little bit more just within the last year. So yeah, that Raise a Cult final scene, it was a perfect little stinger at the end of this trailer. That was much needed.
And I love that one shot too that they had with Janine. I have a theory, and I want your opinion on it.
I have a theory. It could be Bunny. Sorry.
The real rejects are in the chat.
Rejects.
But that what is it called? That Janine and Egon are actually the grandparents. in this story? Do you think it was that the story of the?
But didn't she get together with somebody else?
She got together
in
with
the
Rick
second
Moranis' character in the second one,
Right.
but they just hooked up.
Right.
Maybe after that, Janine and Egon got together, and it was really just a ploy to make Egon jealous that she went after
Lewis.
Lewis. Thank you, Lewis Tully.
Lewis Tully.
So Central Park West.
Vanessa sat there doing the math yesterday on figuring out when it comes to Egon, the kids, Janine, all that. And the way she put it out there, I'm like, well, that's it. I buy into that. That's canon for me too. At first, I'm like, well, maybe she is the grandparents. Maybe Janine is the grandma that's there. But it seems like she's handing off the house to the family and informing them about their grandfather because they don't, or her father, when it comes to the mom. Mm-hmm. But it feels like they don't really know anything or much about Egon. And they even call, like McKenna Grace's character even calls him Egon at one point in the trailer. And Jason Reitman did a little breakdown of the trailer, and he said two things. He said, one, that Janine was in love with Egon in 84's Ghostbusters. And two, he says that she cared for him so much that she took care of him in his old age. So I'm thinking that as he was ailing, Janine came in and took care of Egon and the house. And when he passed, she was, well, time to, take care of what is left and maybe give it to his family.
The will.
I think she found the kid. I think she found out that Egon had a kid, and the math that Vanessa did. If you calculate the mom's age, I forgot her name.
Carrie Coon.
Carrie Coon. If you calculate her age, she would have been born, I believe it was in like 81. Therefore, Egon could have had a wife, a kid before he became a Ghostbuster, and he ended up being a professor. The dude is nuts. He tried to drill a hole in his head, and it would have worked too if they hadn't
worked. He wouldn't have stopped me.
But this is all Vanessa. Like, she came up with the whole thing about he had a kid before they were Ghostbusters. It didn't work out. He was so invested in his work. He was working at Columbia University, and they ended up moving away. And so he's had a kid the entire time, but they were just not connected with him in any way, shape, or form. And you're going to get that reconnection now. And maybe, he sent her gifts, or he just sent her fungus. This is all Vanessa, by the way. I'm just her mouthpiece. She said all this. She's standing right there staring at me. But when it comes down to it, like, it makes so much sense that this was just before Ghostbusters and that he just wasn't a part of their lives because Egon is weird and crazy and invested in his work.
Yeah, that's true. I like both theories, but I can see the math is starting to make more sense to me, because that would also work.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't mind it if Janine and Egon in the after years got together, but then I think the age wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a lot of sense.
Follow the math, This movie is, I'm just so excited. The trailer's looking so good so far. And I know it seems like a long time until November, but we're going to be holding our breath until we get, do you guys think we're going to get another trailer? This is called the main trailer, but will they do a final trailer?
Yes.
Yep. I think we will get one more trailer and then TV spots. Which will probably ruin the movie because it's Sony. But Jason Reitman has been very vocal about not letting the story leak because he wants it to be a surprise. So he's got a heavy hand in all of that. And hopefully, when we get that final trailer, I'm okay if they end up showing something alluding to the original Ghostbusters. I don't want to see them, but the toys did get leaked, and they do show the Ghostbusters in their outfits. But when it comes,
I haven't seen the toys yet.
Or
are they the original outfits?
Don't look for the original. It's the original outfits, and it could just be because it's like oh, here they are in their original outfits, but they're old. So, but when it comes down to it, like, I feel like we will get a final trailer. I don't think it will be very spoilery. I have a feeling that they're doing all this on purpose. And yes, it has that Stranger Things feel, but Finn Wolfhard's in the damn movie. Stranger Things is hot right now, so you're trying to get that Stranger Things fandom, that Finn Wolfhard fandom especially, to jump on Ghostbusters. But we will get one more trailer, I think, one final trailer.
I just think it's so funny that he in Stranger Things, they all dressed up as Ghostbusters, and now he is actually going to. I don't know if the kids are going to get suits. Probably not.
I think that'd be awesome if
it would. It would be really cool, but like they're still smaller scale than the original 4 because they're not full adults yet. So the suits are going to look real baggy on them. But I can see them maybe strapping on like a proton pack.
Yeah,
he's already driving Ecto-1.
Well, that, and also they made their own little Hot Wheels trap.
Yep.
Oh, did you like that remote control, from the gunner seat?
It makes perfect sense that they would be like, hey, we need some different kind of technology to soup this up a little bit.
Yeah.
And nowadays you can just buy one of those off of Amazon, just click on the trap and be like, okay, go.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that Jason Reitman said too, was that he wanted to make he wanted to take ghostbusting and put it into motion. So what he ended up doing was the ghostbusting from the Ecto-1. That is something that's always kind of been part of our childhood growing up. We were always ghostbusting from the car. The video games did it. You were constantly in the cars. The artwork that came out, the toys showed ghostbusting from the car, but it was never really anything that ended up happening in the movie. So ghostbusting from Ecto-1, how do you trap a ghost in Ecto-1? Well, are you going to drive under it when you're holding it? Do you have to get out of the car? No. It makes sense that you would put a trap on wheel trying to chase it down. And he talked about how you need 3 people to do it. 1 to drive the car, 1 to shoot the ghost, 1 to catch the ghost. So you've got 1 person that's running the trap, 1 person, throwing the beam on it. And then, of course, Finn Wolfhard driving the Ecto-1. So he's kind of showing that dynamic of a team and being able to successfully trap a ghost, but by doing it in a way that we haven't seen before. So, of course, I loved it. He even said he never thought he would do a car chase scene. And now that he did one, he can't wait until he does another one. So it's going to be a fun additive to the Ghostbusters universe that we haven't seen yet.
Oh, and I'm dying so hard. I'm hoping that this is just a huge success, and then we just start getting a whole new Ghostbusters universe.
And the toys do show the kids in Ghostbusters outfits too. So,
well, then, maybe they get like final scene in the film where like maybe a mid-cred.
That's so dangerous, though. I want to let my kid freaking be a Ghostbuster. Are you kidding me?
To be fair, Carrie Coon said, "I just want her to get in a little trouble," and then I was like, "Careful what you wish for."
Yeah, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. You went from class 2, class 1, class 3s up to demigods and gods. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see it all play out. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited that, and thanks to Watchlist TV earlier in the comments, I tried to scroll back up and display it, and I couldn't find it. But all the living cast members are back for this, minus Rick Moranis, who has not been confirmed to come back, because he did technically retire from acting to focus on his private life, but he also was in that Mint Mobile commercial.
Yeah.
So is he out of retirement? Will he come in and say a couple of lines and do like a 1 day on set and then leave? I don't know. But if he's in it, I want it to be a complete secret. I don't even want to know. I hope it doesn't get leaked.
I really hope they don't put it in the trailers, because don't do that. Just let it be a big surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vanessa said he's going to show up with like food and equipment and stuff. Be like, hey guys, here you go. Like, give us to the kids sandwiches and stuff, just kind of helping out. Because
they're at a soccer game. He's like the one with the orange juice and the water bottle. I was like, I've got the hydration.
Think about those half-minute workouts.
Oh, Vanessa's interjecting. What's that?
Slide in, Vanessa. Slide in.
Those half-minute workouts.
Oh, speeding up his workout so he can get a 15-minute workout, a 30-minute workout in 15 minutes. Anyway,
there you go. Oh my gosh. But I'm excited. Sigourney Weaver will be coming back. Oh, somebody said earlier, or maybe it was and I don't know if you guys caught it. I certainly didn't in the trailer, that you maybe heard Dana talk.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I don't know if you did.
They it sounds like Dana. It also kind of sounds like Finn Wolfhard. It sounds like Carrie Coon. Like, it's weird. Like, it could be Dana, but it could be any of the three.
Yeah. Well, either way, we are so excited about the movie. I usually, when I get to this part of like right before the movie comes out, I get very hesitant on whether or not I want to even see or do a trailer reaction. But a big part of me is saying you just got to watch it because it's going to be like, we're so excited for this movie, and especially since it's been pushed back. But another part of me is like, I don't want it to get spoiled. Like, I remember watching BVS and seeing a bomb. Was it a bomb? No.
Yeah.
And seeing that, and I was like, no, I wish I hadn't seen that in the trailer. And sometimes trailers, you know, it seems like they're showing you the big reveal, and then sometimes it's actually not, because there's something bigger and better. But we don't know with this one, so I'm like slightly unsure of how I want to handle that next trailer if we get one. But we probably won't do TV spots. No,
TV spots. I mean, TV spots are usually just trailers that we've already seen that have been snipped down to a 30-second commercial.
And it depends on the trailer spot too. Like, there's been some 1-minute ones that are really good, but come November 11th when it debuts, we'll obviously know a hell of a lot more and have a lot more to say about it. But yeah, being that it's also just in time for Thanksgiving, huge. That's going to be some big numbers for Ghostbusters. It was clever to put it there.
Oh yeah, I have want to like cosplay to go to the movie.
Yeah,
it's very easy.
I know you guys will.
Very easy. No, it's very easy. Just find a surplus store, go get an aviator jumpsuit, and then just order the patches and your name. Like, you can get the patches with your last name on the patch and just Velcro to each one. Done. Granted, then the backpack, that's a whole different world.
That's
but
probably
you can at least get the jumpsuit.
That's going to be the blow up one from Amazon.
I would say just even getting the ones from like Spirit Halloween besides the blow up one, because they make some really cool ones. Right. It's not too bad now.
Yeah, good idea. Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today on all the topic, and specifically for Ghostbusters Afterlife Talk. Robert, thank you so much for hanging out with us for the full hour and then some. Where can everybody find you on YouTube and social media?
Late to the party at all the social networking gin joints. You know where they are. Check out our Ghostbusters Afterlife reaction. We get deep on that one, deep on the last one. We even did reactions to the original Ghostbusters trailer and Ghostbusters 2 trailer, which are all available on our channel right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for your time. We'll have you and Vanessa back on soon. We've been trying to arrange this big, like, see if we can do like a late to the party movie couple real reject, like complete madness.
Sure.
But everybody's so busy and stuff, so we'll have to coordinate. One day it'll happen.
It'll work.
It'll happen. Navi, make it happen. She is out.
Her people will call your people.
I don't have people. It's just me.
And we want to thank all the viewers for tuning in today. If you haven't already, go ahead and drop that thumbs up. Hit that like button. Really helps us out with visibility and algorithm, all that stuff, all that mumbo jumbo right here on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe so you can get more videos just like this one. We do live streams every Saturday and every Wednesday, amongst other videos. So stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.